At this moment, we are privileged and honored to have two influential leaders with us today. Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, Director General of the World Health Organization, and Mr. Yohei Sasakawa, WHO Goodwill Ambassador for Leprosy Elimination. Let's engage in a thought-provoking dialogue between them. But before that, at this stage, I would like to give the moderatorship to Professor Takahiro Nari, who will guide us through this next segment. Professor, you have the floor. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your introduction, Dr. Sose. It is my great honor to facilitate this dialogue. Before we start, since our program is a little bit delayed, so Dr. Tedros, Mr. Sasakawa, I hope you could be brief to answer to each question, because I have prepared for a set of questions to both of you. So I hope I'm not too ambitious. So anyway, let's start. So first, to Mr. Sasakawa. Mr. Sasakawa, you have been initiating the global appeal to end stigma and discrimination against persons affected by leprosy ever since 2006, on the occasion of World Leprosy Day. So it is being issued together with WHO this year. So what does it mean to partner with WHO on the global appeal?
いい質問いただいてありがとうございます。やはりこのレプロシーと病気を制圧するには長年にわたって WHO が中心になってやってまいりました。特にドクター・テドロスにおかれてはこのレプロシーの制圧こそ WHO の大変重要な政策の一つだということでございまして、私が長年にわたって世界のさまざまな団体と協力してアピールを出してまいりましたけれども、ここでドクター・テドロスの協力を得て WHO とともにこの病気の制圧のために努力をされるということでございまして、これは各国政府に対しましても強い大きな影響力を与えるグローバルアピールになると思いますし、また多くの人たちにとりまして大きな啓蒙活動になると確信をしております。
Thank you very much for the great question. Now, when it comes to the elimination of leprosy, WHO has been taking a central role for the past long years in order to achieve that objective. Especially Dr. Tedros, you have been able to cooperate with us in elimination of leprosy, and I think that this is going to mean it's going to be a great policy achievement for WHO as well. In my case, I have been working with various organizations in order to send out the information of leprosy through the global appeal. And this time, we were able to jointly announce this global appeal together with WHO, especially with you, Dr. Tedros. And I would like to thank you very much for this collaboration, because this is going to mean a great impact to each and every government of different countries around the world. And I think that this is going to give a great opportunity to enlighten many people around the world.
Dr. テドロスから素晴らしい支援を私は精神的にも受けておりますので、コロナで3年間ほどは Zoom での Don't Forget Leprosy のキャンペーンでございましたけれども、これから私はすでに 世界122カ国の現場、アマゾンの奥地からアフリカの砂漠、そしてコンゴにおけるジャングルに住むピグミーのところまで足を伸ばしてきました。私は現場には問題点と答えがあるという哲学を持っておりますので、どうしても現場に行って活動をしたいと思っております。私はまだ85歳の青年でございますので、まだまだ私は活動をしなければいけないと思っておりますので、このグローバルアピールを発信した後は、アフリカの約6000メーターのキリマンジャロに挑戦をいたしまして、キリマンジャロの頂上から「Don't Forget Leprosy」のバナーを出すことによって、私の現場での活動のキックオフにしたいと思っております。これもドクター・テドロスの私に対するサポートを受けて、私の人生の後半をこのゼロレプロシーのために捧げたいと思っております。
I myself is very much supported physically as well as psychologically from you, Dr. Tedros. In these several years in the past, we have only been able to talk to the public regarding the importance of leprosy via Zoom. However, now the COVID has been subsided, I am very much prepared and ready to be able to visit different countries around the world again. In the past, I have visited all the way to the Amazons and all the desert in Africa regions, as well as went to meet with the pygmies going into the jungles in Congo as well. But I would say that this is all coming down to my strong belief that the issues, the problems, and the solution to that problem always resides together in the same place. And that's why I have been visiting all those different countries around the world, and I would like to continue doing that going forward as well. Since I am still a very young man of age 85, I would like to still be very much active in the late half of my life, so that I would be able to achieve zero leprosy from different countries around the world, and having your strong support, Dr. Tedros, from you. And right after this meeting, I would also be visiting to Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. And I'm going to challenge to climb up to the summit of that mountain so that I can bring the banner that says, "Don't forget leprosy." And I would be able to put that banner up at the summit of this mountain. So for that, that's going to give me the kickoff so that I can revisit different countries to solve this problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sasakawa. I'm very honored to accompany with him to climb Mount Kilimanjaro for your information. So, Dr. Tedros, I have the same question to you. So, what does the global appeal mean to the WHO?
Yeah, first of all, I think Ambassador Sasakawa is giving me a challenge. So, but you should know that I am from a mountainous region or from a mountainous country. We have very high mountains, so maybe I will join you for the Kilimanjaro. I mean, I will start with you, Mr. Sasakawa. Your commitment actually impresses me. And maybe if I would like one thing today, I will not thank you. I will thank Japan for giving us Sasakawa. And of course, thank you so much also to Mr. Sasakawa and your family. You know, you show one of the rare commitments. Traveling to 120 countries to help them eliminate leprosy means a lot. keeping a commitment for more than 50 years means a lot. I think very few people do that. And as I said earlier during the presser, you inspire me. And representing WHO, I can also say, you inspire us. So, arigato gozaimasu. And I should tell you that I personally, and as WHO, representing my WHO, we're proud of you. And not only proud of you, but proud of Japan also for giving us Mr. Sasakawa. And now, coming to the question, what does this global appeal mean to us? It means a lot. It's very significant. It shows a need for renewed commitment to end leprosy. And this appeal, I believe, will give energy to the fight. This Global Appeal 2024 will give the necessary impetus to the fight. I think we have come a long way from 10 million, around 10 million cases in the 1980s to 150,000. And throughout that period, you were at the center of this fight. And this appeal means, it reminds us to do more, to even be stronger in the last mile, to finish the job. It will give energy to the strategy. As you know, the 2021-2030, to eliminate leprosy by 2030. Many countries are showing commitment to end or to eliminate it even before 2030. So this appeal is significant, and hope this will help countries to renew their commitment and to end leprosy. It's a very dreadful disease. As I said during the presser, by the way, I have direct experience with leprosy when I was working for Armer Hansen Research Institute in Ethiopia. How people with leprosy actually suffer not only from the disease, but more even from stigma and discrimination. It's like the whole community is outcasted. And the same is true in many countries. So I believe this appeal will give us impetus and energy to renew our commitment and really push and reach the finish line to eliminate leprosy. And I'm very, very hopeful and look forward to working with you even more closely and become more aggressive to reach the target that we have set for ourselves. But again, beyond words on how to thank you, arigato gozaimasu from my heart.
今回、この WHO がグローバルアピールを出してくださるということは、各国におけるこのレプロシーの患者というのは、各国の保健省にとりましては、やはり患者数からいくと、結核ですとか TB ですとか、あるいはマラリアですとかエイズですとか、大変患者数が多い病気の中で、レプロシーは患者さんが少ない病気でございます。しかもこの病気は人々が考えるほど 感染力が弱い病気で、私はもう何千人何万人になるかも分かりませんが、直接手で彼らの幹部を触ってますけども、私は残念ながらまだ感染をしてないんです。でこの病気は普通の病気と違いまして、痛みがありませんし、熱が出ることもありません。体の一部に白いパッチができた時がこのレプロシーの発症になるわけでございますが、痛みも熱も出ないためにそれがレプロシーだということに気がつかないために病院に行くチャンスがなくしてしまうという特徴があるわけで、気がついた時には障害が出てきていると、こういうことでございます。従いまして今回 WHO がこのアピールを出してくださることによって、患者数は少ないですけども、この旧約聖書から強い差別を受けてきた病気であり、この社会の中で静かに深く沈殿している病気がこのレプロシーの最大の特徴なんですね。従いまして WHO が今一度この病気に焦点を当てて、この障害を持って差別に苦しんでいる人たち、そしてそういうことにならないようのために努力しましょうということを再度確認を各国政府保健省にしてくださるということは、大変ファイナルプッシュにおきまして私は大きな効果を上げてくれるものと確信しております。
Thank you very much for those words. Having WHO announcing this global appeal would mean tremendously to the different countries around the world. Because there are patients in those countries, and those patients are under the jurisdiction of Ministry of Health of that particular country. When looking at the number of patients per se, the numbers may not be as large as that of, say, TB or malaria or HIV/AIDS. But at the same time, leprosy is not a very strong communicable disease either. I have been shaking hands or touched them throughout visiting different countries and meeting with those patients, but I still have not gotten leprosy. Therefore, this tells that the infectious level is not that high. However, one of the very uniqueness of this leprosy is that leprosy, especially in the initial phase, does not have any pain nor fever. Therefore, people does not rush to hospitals or to clinics to get treated. The only early symptoms that they would see is the small white discolored patches that may appear on their skin. This is meaning the initial symptom of leprosy. But since there is no pain, they would just ignore that and does not go to the clinics. And by the time they want to go to the clinic, it will be already too late because the disability starts to show. Therefore, in this global appeal led by WHO, this announcement is going to mean tremendous impact to those patients, although the number of those patients may not be as large. Because this discrimination and stigmatization of these people has been existent since the Old Testament times, which is quite long. And therefore, having this commitment by WHO would mean quite important to the leprosy community, which is deeply rooted and sedimented into the community of different countries around the world. And WHO, as a result from this global appeal, would shed light to those people around the world, which I think is very much important. So it's a very unique disease, and I'm hoping that the Ministry of Health of those countries would be able to give the further push in order to achieve the final mile towards the goal that WHO have set forth. And this is going to be a tremendous impact and the influence to those countries. And I would like to also support to achieve that objective.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sasakawa, Dr. Tedros. In relation to the point just made by Mr. Sasakawa, I have a next question to Dr. Tedros. So leprosy, like other NTDs, is still associated with stigma and discrimination. So what are the health implications of stigma and discrimination?
Yeah. So the health implications of stigma and discrimination are actually serious. One, when people are stigmatized and discriminated, they will not be able to access health services or education, or they can't even work. And as a result, their health condition can worsen because they don't go to education and they can't also work. Then that means poverty and, all the health problems related to poverty. And you name it. But the most acute one is because of stigma and discrimination, mental health. People with experience of stigma and discrimination could experience some mental health conditions. Even some could risk suicide. So that's why I said it's serious. But if you take mental health and risk of suicide, it could be acute. But there is also the long-term consequence as a result of lack of access to health services, to education, and even to work, and that could have a ripple effect on their health condition. So its impact is actually the stigma and discrimination on their health condition is really serious, both directly and indirectly, both immediate and even long term. I think that's what we should really take into account when we fight leprosy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros.
大変大きなこのレプロシーにはスティグマとディスクリミネーションが伴っているわけでございますが、これは旧約聖書の時代からそうですが、中世のヨーロッパでも大変このレプロシーが流行したことがありますが、レプロシーになりますともう教会で死のミサが行われて、以後教会の出入りも禁止されたというような時代もありましたが、この交通もあるいは通信もない時代に世界中で共通してですね、このレプロシーにだけはこの強いスティグマとディスクリミネーションがあり、今日これだけ情報が発達した今においてすら、このレプロシーに対するスティグマやディスクリミネーションは社会の中で静かに深く沈殿をしているっていうか、表面化しない、メディアも取り上げてくれないということで、本当に普通の生活をしている人は全然気がつかない。レプロシーになった人だけが味わう極めて厳しい差別が日常的に行われているわけでございますけども、一般の市民生活をしている人にはあまりそれが理解されてないという大きな、私はこれを社会問題としてクローズアップしてもらうためには、やっぱりメディアの協力をいただくための努力も私たちはしないといけないと思っております。
When it comes to leprosy, as has been mentioned stigmatization and discrimination is always together with the disease of leprosy. This leprosy word appears in the Old Testament as well. And in the medieval age of Europe, when there had been an outbreak of leprosy, people have taken those patients to the church, and the church performed a death mass for those patients. And therefore, since then, those patients were never allowed to enter to the churches. So this was how serious their discrimination was from that time, even during the Old Testament age and medieval age of Europe. And at that time, there were no transportation like we are enjoying today, nor cell phones that we are so used to using today. However, even so, this kind of stigmatization and discrimination has been quite common in all different parts of the world, which is also one of the uniqueness of this disease of leprosy. And at the same time, today, we have a development of the telecom system, but still, the society is conducting discrimination towards these people. Therefore, this stigma as well as discrimination is quietly and deeply rooted into the societies, and it's already been sedimented there without being surfaced, without being covered by mass media. Therefore, I would say that people who's living the normal life does not really care or does not even come to light of what leprosy is all about. But the people, once detected leprosy, would have to experience such a difficult, painful life because of this stigma and discrimination in a daily basis. So I would say that this discrimination and stigmatization is a social problem. And unless we have help from media, I don't think this would be able to be penetrated to the all periphery of the society. Therefore, I think we do need to work harder so that the media would be able to take this up and cover it through this news.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros. Thank you very much, Mr. Sasakawa. Dr. Tedros, I appreciate that you raise issues on the mental health because the whole leprosy is now paying attention to that issues. And I believe that WHO is able to play more proactive roles to deal with the mental health issues of the persons who have experienced leprosy. So thank you very much. So I have another question. To Dr. Tedros. So what action must be taken to end leprosy?
What action?
I know it's not an easy question.
What action? I think we have to implement the strategy, the 2021-2030. I think all that we need to do is in the strategy. So from my side, representing our WHO, I would like to assure Ambassador Sasakawa that we will do everything to support countries to eliminate leprosy by supporting them with the elimination strategy. So that's very clear, I think, in the strategy what should be done. But I would like to highlight a few things. One, I think it has to be people-centered. It won't succeed without making this elimination effort people-centered. Because Ambassador Sasakawa have underlined, and I have underlined, that stigma and discrimination is one of the major problems, actually the major problem. And without the cooperation of the people, the community, you cannot fight discrimination and stigma. So I think that's very central. And second, if we fight stigma and discrimination, it means people will come forward to be diagnosed. So early detection and treatment is very important. And we have the drugs, and as Ambassador Sasakawa said, it's actually free. And I would like to thank Novartis, by the way. I would like to use this opportunity to thank Novartis. It's free and it can be provided. So that's, I think, very important, the early detection and treatment. With early detection and treatment, you can also avoid disability. And you know how leprosy affects our bodies. It attacks the nerve. That's why there is no one sensation, and that's why then it leads into even some amputations. It affects the skin, it affects the eyes, and it's very, very debilitating. So the early detection and treatment means preventing this disability. And of course, in addition to this, we can do many other things. Maybe these are the basis, including prevention, by the way. That should be the focus. I believe if we can implement the strategy in its totality, we can eliminate leprosy in all countries. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros, for your commitment to end leprosy. So I have a final question to Mr. Sasakawa. Mr. Sasakawa, since 1975, the Nippon Foundation and Sasakawa Health Foundation have supported national leprosy programs through WHO. And the year 2025, I mean the next year, will mark the 50th anniversary of this partnership with WHO. So Mr. Sasakawa, why have the two foundations continued to support the field of leprosy for such a long time?
やはり人類にとって、一番大切なことはやっぱり健康で生活をしていくということでしょう。そういう意味でさまざまな国際機関がございますけども、我々人類にとって直接的に人々にとって重要なのはやっぱり病気との戦いでございますから、私たちはやはり WHO が特にアルマータ宣言で全ての人々に健康をということを発表されました。したがいまして私たちはそういうプライマリーヘルスケアをなさっている方々を表彰する笹川健康賞というのを作り、また多くの病気がございますけども、私たちの財団が全てのことに関わるということはできませんが、このレプロシーの制圧活動とこの2つの点について私たちはWHO の皆さんとの深いご理解をいただいて、共に汗をかいて仕事をさせていただいたと。50年続いている協力関係っていうのは多分珍しい例ではないかと思いますが、私たちはやはり結果を出さなければいけないと。私は強い責任を負っていると自覚をいたしておりますので、私は自分の人生の残りをこのレプロシーの制圧に全てを捧げたいと覚悟をしてキリマンジャロに登ってまた活動を再開するキックオフにしたいというふうに思っております。
I think that there is a common aspect which had led both parties to come thus far. And one of the important part of that is putting people at the center, meaning that the people's peaceful life is to live in good health. And I think that this is pretty much common with the ideology of WHO as well. there are a lot of international organizations exist around the world, and we actually put people focus. And at the same time, this is one of the reasons why that we try to strive towards fighting with the disease. WHO had declared Alma Ata, which means health for all. And I think that this is quite important, especially for the people working in the primary healthcare field. And that's one of the reasons why that we have decided to award these people in the form of Sasakawa Health Award. And we alone would not be able to tap into all different issues that exist. However, this leprosy is one of the area that we have been receiving the understanding from WHO with the strong support from them, pushing this forward to achieve where we are today. And finally, we are going to achieve 50th year next year in order with this joint collaboration with the WHO. And I think that having this particular project or particular cause continuing for 50 years, I think is quite rare. But I myself feel responsible that there has to be an outcome or result that needs to be attained as a result from this long collaboration. So I am committed in dedicating the remainder of my life for the elimination of leprosy, so that climbing up Mount Kilimanjaro is going to give another kickoff activity for myself to work in this field going forward.
Dr. Tedros, do you want to make a final comments as to what Mr. Sasakawa has just said?
Yeah, join it. Yeah. I think he's repeating the challenge, so see you in Kilimanjaro.
Thank you very much. Yes, so I think time is up now. So
So don't forget leprosy. I think the tagline, he has been already to Mount Everest, and now the next challenge is Kilimanjaro. But in all this, just what you said, more than 50 years, and of course, since he started supporting WHO, 50 years, but his commitment to leprosy has been more than 50 years. And this is very, very inspiring. And thank you so much for who you are. That's really a good lesson for many of us. So we're very, very grateful and beyond words. And thank you so much for what you do and for what you continue to do. And arigato gozaimasu.
thank you very much for the very nice final word, Dr. Tedros. For your information, you are welcome to join the next challenge of Mr. Sasakawa. So thank you very much, for both of you for very enlightening, conversations. And I hope both WHO and Sasakawa Leprosy Initiative can continue to work together to realize our shared mission, the zero leprosy. So thank you very much again. And I want the audience to join me thanking to Dr. Tedros and Mr. Sasakawa.